Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be my review for the season of House of Lies. Now, House of Lies was a show that I was never planning on reviewing. In fact, I never even watched a single episode. Here's how I found out about House of Lies. I was scrolling through YouTube and they had the first episode on YouTube. You could watch it, and I watched like 4 minutes of it. I'm like, you know what? This is a great show. I'm gonna watch it and see if I like it. And I loved the first episode, and I continued watching all of season 4, and now I'm going to review season 4. There was a point where I was going to review the season individually, but I figured I'm not going to do that because, one, the titles are ridiculous to the show. Two, there's so much unnecessary stuff that happens in each episode that it's not showing you to review individually. Now, how did I feel about the season 4 of House of Lies overall? Season 4 honestly was perfect. I have no complaints with this season. There was never an episode that I didn't love of House of Lies. There was never a plot that I thought went wrong. House of Lies very quickly became one of my favorite shows on TV. It's probably my third favorite show on Showtime, honestly. It really is one of Showtime's best shows, in my opinion. It's also the funniest show on TV, I think. I think it's very funny at points, and I'm going to talk about what I loved about the season. I'm going to talk about the season overall. I don't know if this video is going to be long or short, but we'll see how it is. Let's just get into what I thought House of Lies overall. So, the main plot of House of Lies, the season 4 of House of Lies, is Marty has just returned from prison, and basically he was in prison. I guess he went to prison at the end of season 3, and he's now returning to Con Associates, which is struggling without him right now, and a lot of it focused on that, and some of the things I really like that they did with that is that they had flashbacks to see what was going on with Marty, um, and there were a lot of things that was revealed in those flashbacks. The biggest is that Jeannie is pregnant, and that's a big storyline, is Jeannie's pregnant, and it's very quickly revealed that it is Marty's baby. You can tell it's Marty's baby, and that's something that is very interesting because Marty, as we know, is a very interesting type of father figure. We see how he is with Roscoe, and I was just interested in seeing how he was going to be as a father overall. And the thing is, though, Janine is involved with an old flame, Edwin, and Marty wants Janine that he wants her, wants her to basically leave once the company gets financial footing, since he doesn't believe they can work together because, in the past they just couldn't work out really well. And that's one of the things I really like about the season is if you were new to the season like I was, they pretty much catched you up on everything that was going on, which I loved. I mean, I understood everything that was going on. There was never a point where I'm like, oh, I wish I would have watched the season. No, because they caught us up really well. And I thought that was really good. So basically, most of the season is Marty trying to figure out what's going on with Con Associates because there's this woman, Denna, who she is this very powerful, high successfully investor who owns a global investments, and she basically is the main antagonist of season 4. There's also Ellis Hightower, who Marty ends up befriending in prison, but he also owns Gage Motors, which is another marketing consultant thing against them and everything. And I thought that was a very well done plot. I thought the way they handled it was really good. And sometimes it was really funny as well. One of the things I love about House of Lies is how Marty will sometimes just talk directly to the camera about what he plans to do and things like that. I thought it was really well done. I definitely really enjoyed that. One of my favorite parts of the show by far is seeing Marty do that. I really do enjoy seeing that. But back to Jeannie and Marty. A lot of this season focuses on can Jeannie and Marty work together and can they work as parents. And for the beginning of the season, you can tell that no, they can't really work together. They're in a very bad position. They're arguing a lot. They're not really getting along very well. A lot of times Marty's yelling at Jeannie, being really rude to her. Granted, he's pretty much a dick to everyone, but even more to her. Like, they just can't get along well at all. In fact, there are parts where there are times in the season where they have to pretend to like each other just so they can work together. And I really like seeing that inner struggle go on and see why this is happening between them. I definitely really enjoyed that. And then of course the tables turn when we realize that, the baby is Marty's. And I thought that was very well done. And basically, they have very different views on their client business. In fact, there's a point where you think Jeannie is going to leave Con Associates because she gets another offer from Denna and their company, and you think that she's going to leave them. And I actually thought there was going to be a point where she left them, but she doesn't leave. in fact, she stays with them, and one of the things I like is that she chooses not to leave and actually makes Marty and Jeannie's connection a lot stronger, which I definitely really appreciated seeing that. I thought that was really well done. I definitely really enjoyed that, and eventually Jeannie does have the baby. She has the baby, and they, I think, are pretty much back together at this point. I really do. I think they're together now. In fact, there's a great episode at the end of episode 10 where she comes to Marty's house for dinner, and you can just see that they're on a great path, and Jeannie has the baby. But the thing is, at the end of the season finale, we pan on Marty's face, and it's my question is, does Marty really want this happy life? Does he want to be happy with the baby and things like that? Because I'm really not convinced that he wants this happy life. He doesn't seem happy when Jeannie has the baby, and Con Associates ended up going great. In fact, Con Associates, nothing bad happens to them. They're in a great standing. They're not struggling anymore, and but you just see this look on Marty's face like he's not happy, and it just is because I don't know if Marty wants this happiness right now. He doesn't want things to go right for him, and I don't know how Marty really feels about that. I find that very interesting, and overall, I find that to be very interesting. So I'm wondering where that's going to go and where that's going to go in season 2. The other big thing in this season has to do with Marty's son, Roscoe, who Roscoe is clearly gay, and Marty doesn't exactly approve of it. He kind of hides the fact that he's gay from Marty, and he basically the whole season he's having a very hard time with Marty because one of the things Roscoe is doing is that he's doing drugs. He's kind of hanging out with a very bad crowd who's making him do some very bad things, vandalism, skipping school is a big one because Marty wants him to stay in school, get a good education, but Roscoe really doesn't want that. He goes against his father a lot, and that's one of the things I like seeing this tension between Marty and Roscoe, and it's just as interesting as what's going on between Marty and Jeannie. It just shows that Marty is very powerful. He's very powerful, but people go against him a lot. Because let's face it, Marty's not exactly a good person. He's not really a good person. I mean, he's really rude when it comes to his clients, and yeah, he will be there for you sometimes. Yes, he can be really sweet at times, but he doesn't really have much of a heart or a soul, but that's one of the things I like about Marty's character. He's an anti-hero, and I love that about his character. Especially when you compare him to Jeremiah, Marty's father, who's a lot more level-headed and a lot more, you know, a lot better than Marty, and sometimes is even a better father to Roscoe. In fact, he seems more like a father to Roscoe than he is, even though he's Marty's father. Of course, he's a psychiatrist and everything, and I like the way he tried to figure out what was going on with Roscoe. Like, he let Roscoe speak while Marty was really upset with him. There's a great scene in which Marty shows up and Roscoe's not in school, and he's basically telling Roscoe that he needs to be in school, and he's really upset about it. And I really like that scene overall as well. And of course, Jeremiah also detests Marty's ex-wife, Monica, who she keeps coming back in the picture at times. I didn't really know what was going on with her, but she comes back at several points. And eventually, there is this graffiti that is in Roscoe's school. And there's this hoodie kid, and we don't know who it is exactly. You can tell that's Roscoe, but he doesn't really want to tell Marty that it's him. And eventually, Roscoe does reveal that it's him, and I like that he finally told Marty the truth because he wasn't being honest with Marty, and I like that finally the guilt just got to him, and eventually he tells Marty that he was the one, and we don't know what's going to happen to him, but I definitely feel like this is going to change Marty and Roscoe's relationship, that Marty is going to bond more with Roscoe, but the question is, does he really want to bond with Roscoe? I really don't know if this is the direction he wants his life to go in, because at this point, everything in his life is going in a great direction. The question is, does Marty really want this to happen to him? I don't know. We'll have to see. But there are two other plots this season, Clyde and Doug, who I loved their characters. In fact, Clyde and Doug very quickly became my favorite characters on this show. They're so funny. They work so well together. I love their friendship, and they very quickly became, as I said, my favorite characters on the show. Clyde is Marty's best friend, and I love when they joke around together, but he does have a lot going on in this season. First of all, he has his dad, his dad Harvey is has a very difficult relationship with his son. They don't really get along very well. His dad's also dying of cancer, and for a while, his dad wants to stay with Clyde and stay in Clyde's house and everything. And Clyde doesn't really know if he wants him there. And I like seeing that. I thought it was good to have that inner struggle between them because you see that Clyde doesn't really care about his father, but his father does eventually die of cancer. And Clyde does really care about it. He feels really upset about what he said to his dad, and he really feels like he didn't make his dad feel welcome or anything. You really do feel bad for Clyde that happened. And I thought overall it was really well done the way they handled it, and I definitely really enjoyed that. The other thing going on, though, with Clyde is Kelsey, and I really like Kelsey's character. The whole season, Clyde and Doug are, at least the second half of the season, Clyde and Doug are completely fighting against Kelsey. Now, Clyde had a wife, Sarah, but she goes pretty crazy when she's basically crazy. He ends up leaving her because she was a crazy bitch and things like that, and I thought that was really funny, but then Kelsey comes in the picture, and at first it seems like Clyde and Kelsey are going to bond really well, but eventually Clyde and Doug, they end up both having sex with Kelsey, and I thought it was really funny overall when they were fighting against Kelsey. I thought it was really funny, and we do eventually see that she does prefer Doug over Clyde, which I like seeing that overall. I like seeing them fight against Kelsey. It was funny to see. And just that inner fight that they had, it's not meant to be taken that seriously, and I like that. I thought it was funny overall, definitely. I thought that was really funny. But we do eventually see, it seems like at first she's going to prefer Doug, but eventually she tells Clyde that she does prefer Clyde over Doug because he was nicer to what he did was his father. They let his father stay there, and she really admires that that courage, not the courage, but she really admires what he had in him to do that. And I thought that was really great that we saw that she does want to be with Clyde over Doug. Even though we do have that whole conflict going on, I thought it was really funny overall. I definitely really enjoyed that. And really, guys, that's really all I can say about the season of House of Lies. Overall, I really enjoyed the season. I thought it was really funny points. I forgot to say this. This show is hilarious. Like, there are so many points where I was laughing hysterically. And there are so many things in the show you're not really supposed to take seriously. A lot of, for example, Denna and Marty, they have this whole thing where they end up having sex a lot. I thought that was really funny. But the funniest scenes by far include the best thing about the show, I think, is the chemistry between all the actors. The acting is so good on the show. Don Cheadle is so good in this role. Kristen Bell is great. But the chemistry between them as a group, those four, Marty, Jeannie, Clyde, and Doug, that's what works best on this show, is the chemistry between them. That's what kept me watching every week, because I love these characters, and they're so funny as an ensemble, and they work so well together. I definitely think they are the best part of the show. However, Marty and Roscoe is just as interesting, and I definitely really enjoyed that. And one of the things I also like is that the show's not afraid to have some dramatic moments in there. In fact, there are a lot of dramatic moments in this season. There are some moments where you don't know if Con Associates was going to be okay. In fact, I thought Con Associates was going to go out of business. I really did. I thought because of how much they were struggling, that Con Associates was not going to be successful anymore. But Con Associates is great now, and Marty has a great life, but he doesn't really seem to want it at this point. So I don't know where we're headed in Season 5. I think Season 5 is going to be, does Marty really want all this great stuff that's happening to him to happen to him? I think that's going to be really interesting to see. Clyde and Kelsey, I like seeing those two together. I hope they do have a future together because I really do love Clyde and Kelsey together. Doug is kind of the odd man out right now. Doug, I don't really know what's going to happen with him. I mean, we know that Doug, we know that Doug's character, I like where they went with Doug's character. I'm just interested in seeing what's exactly going to happen there. We'll see. But overall, guys, I loved this season of House of Lies. I'm so happy I started watching the show. It was a great decision for me to watch the show. And also, guys, if I had to say which show I liked better, Girls or House of Lies, definitely House of Lies. As I told you guys, I love House of Lies. It's as good as Togetherness. Yeah, it definitely is as good as Togetherness, and it gets shit on, and I don't know why the show gets shit on. I think it's because of the type of show it is. It's a show you can't take too seriously. A lot of things in the show, as I said, is very crazy, but you can't take it too seriously. If you have fun with it, you'll love the show, but it does have drama in there, which I love, and it does make you care about the characters, and it has a great story overall, which is something I loved about this season. The season was also very consistent. It never had an episode that was filler. There was only like one episode that was filler, But even the filler episodes work well on the show because of how funny the show really is, and the screenplay and the writers, they know what they're doing. And what I like is that Don Cheadle even writes some of the episodes, so he knows what he's doing as well. And I know a lot of what he says, I'm pretty sure, is improv, which is great because some of the funniest scenes I said are just him talking to the camera about what his plan is, and it's so funny to see. There are times where you're watching him talk to the camera and you feel like you're watching like a children's show. It's so funny, and I love that, but it's so raunchy as well, and it's hilarious, and that's one of the things I loved about this season overall, and one of the things I love about the show. But that's basically my review for Season 4 House of Lies. Let me know what you guys thought of this season overall. Where do you think Season 5 is going? I can't wait to see Season 5. It was just renewed for Season 5, which I'm very happy about. It's only going to be 10 episodes, though, which, okay, whatever. But that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for Bates Motel. So I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.